Hey guys, Jason here from the One Stop How To Guys, bringing you episode 3 of Practical Drupal Development. In this episode, we're going to be talking about what has to be the most important part of your website, and that's the content. Because after all, when somebody comes to your website, what they're really looking for is content. Now, before we move forward, it's important to identify what content actually is. A lot of people think that it's just the text that's on a page, and that's not always the case. Your content can be anything from an image, to a file download, to a game that you've embedded into the web page for people to play. Now, how does Drupal organize all of this stuff? Well, they do it in what is called content types, and a content type is a logical grouping of like content. If we hover over structure and move down to content types, we can see that we have two options here, one of which is article and the other is basic page. Now, the article is a content type that groups news feeds and blog posts together, and it has several fields built in with it. We have a body, an image field, and tags, which is something that we'll cover in greater detail in a later episode. Basic page, as you can see, only has a body field. So what they're doing here is they're creating one content type with a certain set of needs, such as an image and a body and tags, like I said, that we'll cover later, and then a separate one entirely that doesn't need all of that stuff and only needs a text field. So as you're creating your website, it's important that you identify what pieces that you want to have on each page. Does your page need a file download? Does it need an image at all? And when we're going through this, we're going to sit down here and we're going to talk about what each section of our website is going to need, and we're going to build content types that are appropriate for that. So for what we're going to do today, we're just going to create the home page of our website. Now, what we're looking at here is Drupal's default front page. It's not actually much of a node at all or a page at all. And by the way, all pages in Drupal are called nodes, and all nodes are given an ID, which is going to be very, very important as we start developing this website. So what we're going to do is we are going to replace this home page with one of our own. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to content, add content, and since we're not posting an article or a news or a blog feed, we're just going to select this basic page here. When you select that, you'll see that we're given the fields that are in this content type. Now, all content types will have a title field of some sort. You can rename this if you want to, but this is what's going to serve as the page title for that node. And we're going to call ours Welcome. You can call it Home if you want to. Doesn't really matter. You can insert some text into the body of this area, but we're not actually going to do that because we're going to do some really cool things with Drupal's block system that we'll be covering here in a couple of episodes to make our homepage really something fancy. So as for right now, we're not going to add anything to this body field. If we scroll down, we can see that there's some more options on the left-hand side here, and we're only going to touch on a few of these. First is the menu settings. Now this allows you to link this particular node to any menu that you've created in the Drupal system. We are not going to add this to any menus because there is already a default home link, and the icon in the upper left-hand corner of your website also serves as a home link. So we're not really going to add this to any other menus right now. If we come down to the URL path settings, now this is very important for the structure and flow of your website. As I said, every page in Drupal is a node, and every node is given a node ID. Well, the default URL to your page is going to be yourwebsite.com/node/ and then its ID, 1, 2, 3. That's not really all that practical when you're building a website because you don't want to tell people, yeah, go check out my new news article at mywebsite.com/node 3642. That's not really something we want. So the URL alias will mask that node number and node ID with a practical name. So it might be mysite.com/news/ the title of my node. And now we have something that we can practically give to people instead of just node and then a really, really long number. We're going to cover this in much greater detail here in the up-and-coming tutorials because there's a system that we can implement that will make this a whole lot easier for us. So we're going to move on to the comment settings here. Now this is exactly what you would think it is. If you've ever been to, well, YouTube, you know that right below the video, there's a whole section for users to add comments on your video. Well, this is the exact same thing. It provides a section for people to add comments to a particular node. Now, since this is going to be the home page of our website, we don't really want people adding comments to our home page. So we're going to leave that closed for right now, but we will open it up for the articles section just so you can see how it works. Now, the authoring information here tells who posted this particular node and what time and date it was posted. Now, the author can only be a valid user on your website. And we will create more users as we go along so that you can see how that works. Maybe we'll set up a multi-blog site so that we can have one-stop posting global blogs and maybe Jason posting some other blogs, just so you can see how that whole system works. The final tab here is the publishing options. Now, if this publish is not checked, then you only logged into your site will be able to see this page. It just will not be displayed to the general public. Now, I do want us to check this promote to front page here real quick and to see what that actually does. So we're going to go ahead and click save. And Drupal's going to take us directly to our freshly created node. As you can see, there's the title that we entered in. If we decided that we didn't like that title and maybe we didn't want it to be welcome, we wanted it to be home, we simply click the edit tab, change welcome to home, save that, and Drupal will automatically change that name. Now the cool part is that Drupal will not change this node's node ID. So it will always be onestop/node2 no matter what I title the node. Even if we've replaced the URL to be just onestop/home, now that might change. That might change from home to welcome, but this node will always be identified with node 2, and that's going to be very important as we move forward. So if we come up here and we click the home button, we'll be taken back to Drupal's default homepage. And what Drupal's default homepage is just a list of nodes that have been checked to post to the front page. That's not really what we want at all. We want our new node to be the home page, not just this random gathering of nodes that we've said to go to the front page. So we're going to come up here to configuration, which is all of Drupal's core config stuff, and we'll be in here quite a bit as we move forward. We're going to come down to system and site information. Now here is where you can change the name of your site, and since it's localhost right now, we're going to go ahead and change that to the name of our site. And you'll see where that changes here in a moment. If you want to re-enter your email address, if you've put in a real one and you're tired of the emails, you can come back in here and change that as well. But we're going to scroll on down here to where it says default front page. As of right now, it's just Drupal's global node page. We don't want that. We want it to be our new node, which is at node/2. And that's it. We click save. And Drupal is going to modify its database. Like I said in earlier episodes, we're going to interface with that database through the front end of Drupal. So that's now changed the database pointer to say, instead of going to that default page when someone clicks home or goes to our website, now we're brought to our freshly created node for home. And every time you click home, or you click the logo or name at the top, it's going to take us to our page instead of Drupal's default page. Now you can see up here in the URL that it's also not taking you to onestop/home. /node/2. It's taking us to One Stop, which is the front page of our site. So that's how we set that up. In the next episode, we are going to be building the cool homepage slider that's going to go on the very top of this. Now, what that's going to be is a giant image, a link field with some text in it, and it's going to scroll through as many images as we want. It's just a really nice aesthetic piece that can be added to your site to add a little pizzazz to your homepage. But it's also going to serve some functionality with that link field that we can take people to other pages in our website. So if you like this video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next episode of One Stop How-To Guys Practical Drupal Development.